So the inspiration for the stained glass window is the stained glass window at Parliament. That was with regards to the residential schools. So the idea was to create their own stained glass window, and in the panels the students would create images that would reflect where Canada needs to go in terms of moving forward in its relationship with Indigenous people. So I think the motivation was the absence of having done content on Indigenous issues and the idea to be able to unpack those historical concepts within the context of an important and relevant topic.
We do Aboriginal voice over time, so when is it being heard and when is it kind of being silenced, so that they can kind of look for any trends and turning points. When in Canadian history were we most fair and equitable? And then that kind of brings us around to the window into the future. So here's where we are now. Where do you see us going in the future, and how can this true idea of reconciliation come to being in their lifetime?
And you can see from the student feedback in the journal sort of the growth and understanding and appreciation, because that's the biggest thing we need to do. Is we can't possibly teach everything, but we want the students to try and actually get themselves in a place where they can empathize and understand. So really, I think the prime goal when they're doing their windows of the future is to sort of understand where we've been, what's happened, and how they as citizens, what can we do to move forward? Because it's a huge issue.
We've tried to get a lot of transferable skills, right? So whatever they're doing in history, you can do all of these skills, all of these things are applicable in our everyday lives. So I think that's why I like the ethical dimension so much, because they're put in that position on an everyday basis. And what do they need in order to make the best judgments for us as Canadians moving forward, right? You need to look at things from different perspectives, and you need to gather evidence, and you have to have all of those things in order to come forward and say this is what we expect of our current government, right? So we want to make them active in this society, even though we're looking at stuff that has taken place 100 years ago.
And so a compulsory Canadian history course is important because they can understand the context of what we see as being a pretty good country in the world to live in for most people. Mm-hmm. And that it didn't happen by chance, it was made, and this country was made in a different way than other countries, and that helps us understand why we might be a good country in the world to live in for most or many people. Then the other thing is we do need to explore the fact that this is a great country, but the reality is we can't be complacent because it's not great for everybody within our own country. So I think that's an important piece.
It's history, but it impacts their daily life. And the hokey part, I don't know, is that they have the agency to actually make this different, to change, and to move forward to whatever Canada that they can be proud of, right?